IEB IT Grade 10, 3.1 Networks. What is a network? It's a collection of computers. They are connected to each other and they can share hardware like a printer or software. And they can share data and information, and they can also communicate with each other. So the reasons for having a network are mostly for communication. It's fast and efficient. You can share hardware resources like a printer that is common to all of them, or a server. You can centralize data, for example, certain files which everybody in a company needs to access. You can also transfer files from one user to another easily. They're also used for leisure, if you know people who do LAN parties and play games with each other on computers. And you can have increased control and security, and it's also good for flexible access. The disadvantages of a network are that you need someone to manage the network, and you need someone who's an expert and who's been trained to do this. Also, your security needs to be good. Otherwise, people could look at each other's files or personal or private information that they don't want others to see. Another problem is that if a virus attacks one computer, it can spread easily to the others. And if there's a problem, for example, if your main computer, which is called your server, goes down, then everything can come to a halt. And there's also the possibility that data could get lost because of the way a network is run. We need two components to run a network: the hardware and the software. On the hardware side, obviously you need your computers and their peripherals. Remember, peripherals are your mouse, your screen, anything attached to the computer. You need a network interface card. That's that little green card in the picture. That's in every computer that wants to communicate on a network. You need one of these, and it's called a NIC for short. You need a thing called a switch, like this Netgear thing at the bottom, that connects the computers together and creates a network. And you need media. That is the way that the data is going to travel. It's either wired media or wireless media. So on the wired media side, we have two main types. The UTP, which is like the picture at the bottom left, that stands for unshielded twisted pair. The other picture shows shielded twisted pair, where you can see there's like a silver foil around all the twisted pairs of cables. And then we get fiber optic cable, which is how most of our businesses and homes are connected. And that's a very good way of having a network, although it's far more expensive because it uses light. Light is transmitted in these wires or fiber optic cables. On the software side, you need a special operating system if you're going to have a big network. It's called a network operating system. As you can see in the middle of the picture, Windows also, even though you're used to just having Windows for your little own computer on its own, Windows also makes a server edition, which is a special network operating system. The different types of networks, we'll talk about two main types this year. A LAN stands for Local Area Network, and that's when just a few computers are connected, although the bottom picture could also be a LAN or have many LANs in it. It's local, it's in one building. And then you get a WAN, which is a Wide Area Network, and often many LANs are connected together to make a WAN, and this can be in a whole city. You also get different roles that computers play in a network. You can get there are three different types: servers, clients, and peers. We'll talk about them all now. And The network operating system controls where the information can flow and how, and also the roles of these computers in the system. So a client computer, it is there to mainly use or consume network resources. It does not provide any network resources. So it doesn't provide files or CPU time processing or any of its resources. It doesn't share them. It is there to use the server and its power, its files, and so on. Clients rely on the service for resources such as files and printing. And then client computers are also split into two different types. You get fat clients and thin clients. So the fat client, it's a computer that does have its own hard drive, and it mostly uses all the files from its own hard drive, but it uses network services a little bit. Then you get thin clients. They are very low spec computers, so they're very not very powerful. They have very small hard drives, if any at all, and they get most of their resources from the server. So even when they run an application like a certain kind of software, it would come from the server. The server is providing CPU time and files and even the application, and they save data files mostly on the server. Then you get server type computers. These are computers that only provide network resources. They are not there for a person to just use as their own computer and workstation at which to work all day. Servers are very powerful. They have very much better specs than your normal little computer used by one person. So they have more memory, more RAM, and a much bigger hard drive. So what do? They manage the data being transferred all on the hard drive. They manage network traffic. They control access to services, and they provide users with access to files. You get special servers which have a specific role in the network, like email servers that control all the emailing on a network. You get internet or proxy servers which manage all the internet traffic going in and out of a network. And you get a print server which manages all the printing going on the network as well. Then you get peer computers. This is the third type. So peers use, but they also provide network services. So they do both. You've heard of peer-to-peer LANs. These are the types of little LANs that people set up in a home or a business where there are 10 or less computers, or if you've got friends or you yourself do gaming and you connect you and your friends' computers. This is typically a peer-to-peer LAN. So you do not have a server, and all the computers provide and share their network resources. It's a simple little LAN to create and operate. It's inexpensive because you don't need a special server and you don't need special software. A client server LAN is shown here in the picture, and here you do have a main computer called the server, and all the other PCs are called clients. And remember, they can either be fat clients or thin clients. It is an efficient way to connect computers. Now, access control in a network is very important because you don't want just anybody to connect to the network and then be able to look at all the files on everybody else's computers. For example, your salary files in a company must be kept confidential, or the marks in a school have to be protected. You don't want the learners to come in and change the marks. So each user gets a username and password. Remember to look at the password rules on page 170 to know how to create a good password. And And then if you're sitting at a workstation or a PC in a business, in a school, wherever, how would you know that you're connected to a network? There are lots of ways. One is that you will, when you go to File Explorer, you can look and you will see that there are extra drives or folders that show up. Usually your computer will go up to the F drive, that will be your flash drive if you connect one. But then there could be the J drive or the H drive and so on. Those would be network folders, usually on the server. You'll also get other computers showing up in My Network Places in Windows Explorer. You also could see printers that are not connected to your little own computer that show up. And you could see network activity in the system tray at the bottom of your screen.